To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave para peeps on this side of the veil, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I'm a seminarian with the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted home where I live. We've got a great show for you tonight. You're going to love my guests. You already know who's here. That's why you tuned in. You don't tune in for me. And they're in the green room. I will bring them out very shortly. But first, let's check the prayer urn. Lois K. from Nevada. Lois, you just said Nevada. Are you here in Vegas or up north? I know you are clergy, and that is why I watch your show. You're sweet. I know many clergy and how special you all are. Would you please offer up a prayer for priests? Lois, that's one of the most special, if not the most special request anybody's ever asked of me at the beginning of my show. Of course I will. And this hits close to home because I know many priests and many clergy, and I have just recently been accepted by the Council of Bishops to enter the seminary for the United States Old Catholic Church. So God has grabbed my hand and is walking me down this path to priesthood, which is very special. And I wish you could feel that. So yes, this is a very special request, and I will offer up a nice prayer for priests. Here we go. This is a nice one. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty Father, grant to these servants of yours the dignity of the priesthood. Renew within them the spirit of holiness. As co-workers with the order of bishops, may they be faithful to the ministry that they receive from you, Lord God, and be to others a model of right conduct. May they be faithful in spreading the good news, so that the words of the gospel may reach the ends of the earth, and the family of nations, made one in Christ, may become God's one holy people. Amen. Lois, thank you so much for that. And yes, we need more priests. And pray for your priest. And the next time you see a priest on the street walking around, give him a big hug and a kiss and tell him God bless you. All right, if there's anything you want to know, the mailbag. The mailbag. Forgive me. The Paranormal Ministry mailbag. Oh, there's a bunch in there. David R. from North Carolina. When are you going to share with us your Bigfoot experience? This is too funny. I am going to talk about this very topic with my guests tonight. They've had an experience, and maybe if we have time, I'll share mine. And there's another one that a friend of mine, many, many years ago when I was a young kid in New Jersey, had an experience. I'm going to run it past my guests and see what they think. But I'm going to leave this on my desk here. I'm going to ask them that question. And if I don't get to share it today, David, real soon I will share that experience. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. That's our website. And remember, my wife and I don't charge for helping people with their paranormal issues. So I know times are tough, but if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send in a small donation. I promise you, it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Don't leave the website without navigating over to the page called the WSE course/book. On that page, you'll find my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, "Scariest book I ever published." That was Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. But don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy. If you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So you get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. How cool is that? You can get the book a little less expensive at Amazon, but if you buy it off of the website, I autograph it for you, and it comes to you in a house blessing kit, which is very cool. And this is a great time to purchase the first book because God, Ghost, and the Paranormal Ministry 2 comes out this summer. And there are stories in that book that were in the first book that obviously I left open ended because they were ongoing cases that I bring closure to in the second book. So, a great time to get caught up on those stories before the second book comes out. Scroll a little further down on that page and you'll see the Worldwide Society of Exorcists, which I'm a founding member. I offer a 12-week online college level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through the WSE. And this is the course for all you true warriors for Christ that feel a calling and a longing to want to get more knowledge, know how to really draw your line in the sand, make a stand, circle the wagons, and put up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. That's the course for you. You can enroll at the website. If you want to know more about the course before making that type of commitment, reach out to me. There's also a Worldwide Society of Exorcists Facebook page. You can read more about the course. But most importantly, brothers and sisters, keep all my former, current, and future students in your prayers. And all my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion, suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed items that you can only get from yours truly. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, guys, what can I say about my guests tonight? I love them both, and I respect them both, and they're just really cool. They are the creators of Goosebumps Paranormal Society. You've seen them on TV. Um, they're just really cool. They write books, they ghost hunt, they paranormal investigate, they're into cryptids, and the list goes on and on and on. Brothers and sisters, please welcome to the show the one and only Jimmy and D Trick.
Hey, Shawn, how you doing? Hey, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Thank you for. Come on, I know you guys East Coast. It's late there, and you took time an hour out of your busy Monday evening to spend with me and my ministry family. So thank you too. And I know what people are thinking right now. They tuned in for Jimmy and D Trick, but they got Bonnie and Clyde. And behind you, you got an old gang member that was disgruntled with the way things were going, so you had to take care of that.
Yep.
So, very, very cool.
Yeah, this is Bones behind us here. He goes everywhere we go. So we kind of took him in. He was homeless, so we took him in. We housed him. We fed him.
He's a little quiet.
A little
stiff.
Yeah,
but,
he hasn't gained much weight, but his bone mass is much more than what it used to be. So
very, very cool.
He's not as much fun as us.
Listen, you guys are fun, and that's the theme of the show. You guys know how I roll. I just want you to have fun because I'm going to want you to come back. And if I ask you anything you don't want to talk about, you just say, Shawn, we'd rather move on off that topic, and it's a done deal. I do have just a few questions that I threw on this little list I have here, and a few questions that came in from fans and followers of yours. As soon as my show has taken on a life of its own, I've got people sending me in prayer requests. I have people that send me in other questions that I throw in the mailbag. And then I get people as soon as I start promoting a show and who my guests are going to be, people that love them start sending me in questions. Oh, if you get a chance, will you ask them this? Will you ask them that? So I write these down. I don't get to, and sometimes I don't get to any of them, but if I get to some of them, great. So we may get to some of those tonight. But what I want to ask you guys right off the bat is when I was stalking you two for stuff to ask you tonight, I went I stopped briefly in at Diane's Facebook page. So I ask you this.
Yes.
What part of the paranormal pond do you guys like dipping your toes into now? Because I noticed her cover photo. I would assume the cute toes that are painted red are Diane's, and
Not mine.
and the foot on the left that looks like it could stop a car with the brakes went out has to be your foot, or it's Diane lounging with Bigfoot on the beach somewhere. I'm not sure. But you guys do it all. You're a do it all, from Goosebumps. And I'm gonna make sure everybody knows the website. www.goosebumpsparanormalsociety, all one word, .weebly.com.
Yes.
Yes.
You also have a Facebook page that's going to be up soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell everybody about you guys, the team, and where your interests your passions seem to most be under this paranormal umbrella right now.
Well, I'd have to say that it is definitely still paranormal is anything that cannot be classified by a scientist, can't be put in any particular box. So we will say, I guess we'll go with ghost hunting.
We're going to stick mostly with that. Yes, we're into a lot of things, but we still do the ghost hunting. We're getting more and more into doing presentations at events and showing people exactly what we do, showing us the evidence that we get at some of these investigations, and that's been well received by the audiences.
Absolutely. And that's funny. You and I must be a little psychically in tune here, because that was one of the questions one of your fans and followers. Apparently they had planned to see you guys at an event you had this past weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, yes.
They weren't able to come. So this person asks, how was Saturday's event? And they also want to know if when they do finally get around to seeing you two in an event and checking out one of your presentations, what can your fans and followers expect from a Jimmy and Dietrich from Goosebumps presentation at one of these Paracons?
Well, hopefully you're going to get some enjoyment. You're going to enjoy. We like to have fun. We like to be informative. We love to share our experiences.
We're not the real serious type of presenters. We like Dee says, we like to have fun. We like to get the audience involved in some of our EVPs that we play. We ask them, we know what we heard, but we want to involve the audience, and when we play it, say, what do you think you heard? And then we just talk to everybody about it. We try to get the audience involved.
Yeah, that's the fun part. We kind of ask them questions and get them involved and make them feel more than just sitting there watching. Okay, slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. That's not how we roll.
That's very, very cool. I saw pictures of that event, and it was crowded. And everybody that I know that did go there, I'm following their comments and stuff. Everybody had a great time. Yeah. What's next for 2022? We're in August. Oh my gosh, we're already in August.
I know.
I know a lot of these paranormal conferences and Paracons tend to really pile up. And they're all over the place, usually around Halloween, fall time, Halloween. What do you guys have on the docket for the remainder of this year if people want to try and make sure they see you?
Well, right now, in about 2 weeks from now, we're going to be in Gettysburg for the 3-day event, the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. We're not presenting there, but we will have a table offering our signed books and some merchandise we have. We've never been there before, been trying to get in there, and this year we were able to get in there and be a vendor, and we're excited about it, and it's going to be a great time. So we're really looking forward to that. That's not this coming weekend, it's the following weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The nice thing about the event is that it doesn't go into the wee hours of the evening or the late hours of the evening. I think it stops at either 5 or 6.
6 o'clock.
That will give us time. We can go and do some investigating before we head back to.
That's what we plan on doing. We plan on being the event is on Friday. It's from 12 to 6, and then Saturday is from 12 to 6, and Sunday is from 12 to 4. So that gives us time afterwards to, like Dee says, we'll go out on the battlefields. We'll try to do some investigating, because we've been to Gettysburg over a dozen times now, and every time we go and do some of our own investigating, we get something different all the time on the recorders, and that's the things that we present at our presentations, our events. So we're planning on getting some more evidence.
I was there when I was very young. I have to put that near the top of my to-do list. I got to get back there. Sharon's from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get back there and check out Gettysburg again. Phenomenal, phenomenal place. I don't know one person who's passionate about researching the paranormal or investigating or ghost hunting or ghost busting that hasn't gone there, that hasn't had an experience. And some people have had like life changing experiences. Some people have gone there just believing in ghosts a little bit, but they're more into history and the Battle of Gettysburg and just wanting to go there, that have ended up having these life changing paranormal experiences that have changed them so much that they've now become these elite para hunters and do their thing. I would love to hear from you. If you have a story ready to tell me, I would love to hear what you remember most about any of the paranormal experiences that you have had there at Gettysburg. Because I don't know if they close the park down at night.
Yes, at dusk.
At dusk.
At dusk they close it. Yeah.
Dusk. I guess you can't get in there, but the whole town. That whole town.
Yes,
just about anywhere
it's
you
not
go.
just it's not just the battlefields. There's so many other places to go, and sometimes you can stay after it's dark, but and hopefully nobody finds you. Not that we've ever done anything like that.
Yeah, this is just what we've heard.
No, yes, we've heard that sometimes it's such a big place that you could get lost and. Oh my goodness, look at the time.
But they do patrol the park and they will find you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they will find you. Which one? What do you?
Oh boy,
I know.
I mean, there's so many things. I mean, and I've heard of it. I've heard this place has it all. You've got soldiers that don't know they're dead. You've got soldiers that do know that they're dead. You've got soldiers from both sides, the North and the South, who are now friends in death. You have soldiers that are still fighting the battles.
Right.
Yes.
And the stories go on and on and on.
It's funny you said that because one of the EVPs that we played at the event that we just presented at this past weekend was from Gettysburg, and it was a recording that we put the audio recorder set it on top of a rock near Spangler Spring, and we just left it running.
Tell them what Spangler Spring is.
Spangler Spring is a spring where both sides, the North and South, came to get fresh drinking water, and they would take turns doing it. They wouldn't shoot at each other at the time. They just kind of had a little truce going on, and you can come get water, and when you're done, we'll come get water. Then we'll go back to fighting again. So it was it was honorable, is what it was. It's not like it is nowadays, but it was honorable back then.
And this battle took place in 4 days.
3
days in the middle. Excuse me, the beginning of July, but in the middle of the hot summer.
Oh, so hot,
and they were all wearing wool uniforms.
Yeah.
So this was an important place, Spangler Spring.
So we set the recorder on a rock near Spangler Spring, and we just walked away and we let it record. We were only about 50 feet away. We were the only ones there at this time. It was dusk. We were starting to get ready to actually leave the park area, but we thought we'd try this. There was no one else around, no cars, no sounds. It was quiet. So we let it run for about a half hour. Didn't hear anything while we were there at all. We took the recorder, went back to our motel room, and we played it back. And this is the one we played for the people, our audience at the event. There was a segment on there where it was just playing, and all of a sudden you heard rapid gunfire, pow, 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 pow. And it came out so clearly on the recording. We did not hear with our ears when we were there. We were 50 feet away from this recorder. We didn't hear anything, but the recorder picked up all this gunfire, and we played it. We didn't tell the people what it was. We just said, listen to this, tell us what you think. And we played it, and they said, oh, that's gunfire. That's a rapid gunfire. And it sounded like it was a battle going on.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Well, if you talk to a lot of townspeople there that live around there that say it's nonstop. It's like, especially like the cannon fire.
Yes.
All hours of the day and night, the cannon fire. That's incredible. Somebody had popped up here, and it might be a friend of yours. If Zach can get that comment again, I'm not sure.
I saw it.
She wanted
Carolyn
you to
Iconelli.
Yeah. She said for you to share a particular story with us about that.
How about your arm?
Yes, we stayed for a weekend at a place called the Cashtown Inn. The Cashtown Inn is about 8 miles west of downtown Gettysburg. It is a tavern that was built in 1797, but it was used as the Confederate headquarters during the Battle of Gettysburg. And the Confederate general that stayed there, his name was A.P. Hill. He stayed in room number 3.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you. This is how we collaborate whenever we wrote the book too. He says, all right, here's what happened. He types it up, and then I read it over and I say, well, wait a minute.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I'm staring at myself and Sharon right now because she's my unofficial publisher. I write everything literally paper to pen. I write my book. She reads it, checks my spelling, and if I missed something, she's in on every one of my stories. She's part of it. So if I miss something or forget something, or if I make something doesn't sound right, she fixes it all because she majored in English in college. And then after she edits, it goes to my editor. But you guys are so funny.
Well, that's the thing. I would write a whole chapter, and I would read it over when I got done, and this is so good. I'm so happy with what I got. Give it to her. She's my editor. She'd read it. She'd go, okay, we're going to take this paragraph out. We're going to move this one down here. We're going to add 6 more paragraphs in here. Now, this chapter that was about 5 pages long is now 15 pages long. But everything she writes, it's a lot more detail, things that I just didn't remember. And it's absolutely true. So that's why we wrote the book together, and it came out great.
And it works out good because he's not the type to say, wait a minute, this is what I wrote. This is what I want. So it's a team effort.
It's a joint effort.
Oh, absolutely. And and that's probably why your books are as well done as they are. And I know that my book, as good as it is, or isn't, it wouldn't even be published if I didn't have my wife, fixing it up.
Same thing here.
And then I'm blessed by my Annette Munich. She does her own. Sometimes things come back, and she has fixed them because that's what she does, and it's just amazing what she does. So a lot of people think just anybody can publish a book or be an editor. No, it's
tough. It's tough. It takes a lot of time.
You have to rewrite. Before I continue, I want to say hi to Kelly in the UK. That's awesome. You're in the UK.
Hi, Kelly.
and we saw Kay earlier, and hi, Carolyn. Hi, Sissy.
Hi, Sissy. Carolyn, I can tell you.
Guys, you'd be surprised. I get prayer requests, questions that I throw in my mailbox from people all over the world. It's very humbling, humbling. Yeah. And what's also I'm very sensitive, intuitive, and the down part about being that way, some would say, no, you're more empathic, is like when you tell stories like, and plus I'm a crybaby, so I'll make this quick. When you tell stories about like this water hole where it was just, we're talking the Civil War, gang, here. Yeah. We're talking fathers fighting sons and brothers fighting brothers. And,
right.
Exactly.
And hopefully that would never, ever happen again in our country. I know the world is a pretty ugly place right now, but it's just amazing to think of. They just knew, they took turns and would go down.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, they had snipers back then. You had somebody from the north could easily sniper somebody from the south getting his water, and vice versa. But
that's just not.
But it was honorable. Yeah.
Exactly. Honor, which doesn't exist anymore.
No. Things are different. But anyway, when we stayed at the Cashtown Inn, we specifically stayed in room number 3, which was General A.P. Hill's room that he stayed in.
Okay, so let me give you a background on the Cashtown Inn. So not only was that the Confederate headquarters, but they used the basement was an operating room,
it was a hospital,
morgue,
field hospital. Yeah.
Yes, they used it at a field hospital, and they said that at one point they started throwing the body parts out.
They had to do all these amputations all the time. So when they would amputate a limb, they would just toss it out the basement window. And they said the pile got so high, it blocked the light from coming into the basement. It just kept piling up and piling up.
Yeah. So that's just everywhere throughout Gettysburg, Gettysburg. That's how they pronounce it. It's Gettysburg. So there's a lot of tragedy that happened right around that building, in that building. And so we, of course, wanted to stay at that building. We've seen it on the Ghost Hunter shows too.
Yeah, this Cash Town Inn is known to have a lot of paranormal activity.
Yeah.
So that's why we specifically booked this room number 3, because there were things that said to happen in this room, and we wanted to stay in that room and see for ourselves. So we went to bed the second night.
Okay, here we go. I'm interrupting again. I'm sorry. So Jim has a hi honey, it's me. He has a major general's union uniform.
So you're wearing it.
He packed it with him. Sometimes he wears it.
Sometimes I wear it when we walk through town, and we, everybody wants your picture taken.
That is so cool.
It's a lot of fun.
It's so people stop us and say, "You've made our vacation. Thank you so much. Can we get a picture?" It's as weird as it first sounded. Whenever he told me he did this, I thought, okay, and I thought, okay, and then we went. But these, it was just amazing. The people that come up to us, and so he said, "I'm going to buy you something," and I said, because the traditional garb is with bonnets and up to here and long sleeves and petticoats. And I said, that's no, not going to happen. I said, I want to look like Miss Kitty from Gunsmoke. So he bought me a dress off the shoulder.
You're really pretty royal blue.
Yes. And I had my hair up, and I had a little fancy little hat and gloves, and I had a parasol. And sometimes I used my southern accent with what were you again?
Major General.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Come on now.
I have the vapors. It's so hot. I'm so sorry. I have the vapors. But anyway, so where was I with all?
I don't know. We were talking about Cash Town Inn. I don't know where you went.
He brought his uniform as a triggering mechanism. We thought, okay, we're going to bring the Union uniform into the Confederate general's bedroom
as a trigger item.
Yes,
to see if we could, get some action going.
Hung it up on the back of the door. We set up some laser grid, and we had some other little things in the room that they had done. Put some coins, mark where the coins are on this particular, like a little makeup table, to see if during the night they move.
Yeah, what you do is you put like a piece of paper on the table, and you put a couple of coins on it, and you draw a circle around the coins, and you leave it. And if the coins move, they'll obviously move off of the circle that you drew around it, and something happened.
This room also has had some activity where there's an antique rocker that rocks without anybody being in it. So there was all kinds of things that we thought might be going on. We had a camera running through part of the night, and then
a couple audio recorders.
Yes. So okay.
So we had my turn. Okay. Yeah. We had an audio recorder running on a nightstand on my side where I was sleeping. So we went to bed. It was late. About 1:30 in the morning, I was laying on my stomach with my arm up over my head, and all of a sudden my arm started shaking violently. In fact, it shook so much, it shook the entire bed. It woke her up. She was sound asleep. She woke up and says, "What is going on?" I said, "I don't know. My arm starts shaking." As soon as I opened my eyes, it stopped just like that.
Did you feel something grab your arm?
Well, that's what I wasn't sure of. My arm, it wasn't a spasm, like a little tremor. It was shaking like crazy because it was shaking the entire bed.
It woke me up. I can sleep through anything.
So we thought that was very strange, but then it was weird. We didn't know what it was. But it wasn't until...
And it was documented. We heard everything on
we had the recording. We played a recording back. You could hear it all in the recording.
So it wasn't anything that we just dreamt. Wow.
So it wasn't until about a year and a half later, we were back in Gettysburg, and we happened to be talking to a historian that was around one of the battlefields. And I was telling him about this event that happened at the Cash Town Inn. And as I'm telling him, he's looking at me and he's kind of smiling on his head,
smile.
And I'm wondering, what's he smiling about? What's going on? So finally he says, "Well, you know what the story is behind that, don't you?" I go, "I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?" He says, "General A.P. Hill, who stayed in that room where you were, had a young assistant, like a cadet, that was his like right-hand man. It was his go-to. You need coffee, you needed a meeting. I got to see somebody, go get him, blah, blah, blah." So when the general went to bed that night, he had to be awakened in the middle of the night for an emergency. The young cadet went in the room, grabbed the general's arm and was shaking it to wake him up. And I'm going, that's exactly what it felt like right there. Like somebody had a hold of my arm and was shaking. And that really got our attention then.
Think about it, how important, like some may argue with me and say, well, that's possibly residual. No, it definitely interacted with you.
Yes.
So I believe intelligent, but think about this young man at this time in his life, at his age, probably very young, and
Yes.
how important it was to be this,
Yes.
to have the position he had.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
To still be doing that after he's passed. Does anybody know what happened to that assistant?
No.
I have not heard. No.
It'd be interesting to find out how he died.
Yeah.
He died in battle or lived to a ripe old age. And you hear some
40.
of these people that live to a ripe old age, but then they still come back and they haunt a place that meant something to them when they were younger. And then their apparition, they appear young.
Yes.
The people that, know who that ghost is. I find that all just so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Very interesting.
Well, yeah, you guys, I can't wait to get the book and read some of your stories and experiences. And I got to get to Gettysburg. I got to get Sharon back.
Yes, you do.
You got to. You will love it.
You will love it. You come out and we'll meet you, and we will show you around.
Yeah, we could do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know why I think that also the South, and I know so many people that in the South that will agree with me from all over, because like so many places you can just that aren't advertised as being such a battlefield, but there are so many unknown battlefields throughout the South.
Sure.
You never know some field you're walking in how many people died there or were buried
exactly
there.
Right.
And then might not even be a cemetery. They just dug a hole and buried them where they lay dead.
Sure.
Yep.
Right after a battle or whatever. And I believe that's why so many places throughout the South are just infested with spirit, because it is what it is,
Well, Shawn, one of our favorite places to go to, we have friends of ours. They started off as clients and now they're very good friends of ours. Kay has tuned in, and they have a 69-acre farm, and I believe the house and the barn were built in 1840.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Bigfoot, they have ghosts, paranormal. Yep. They have light anomalies.
They have weird lights out in their field that you can see on their cameras.
Infrared cameras, but you can't see it with the naked eye.
But you can't see it with the naked eye. It's just they're just weird lights. You don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah. But anyway, the barn especially seems to be haunted, and there's no electricity in the barn. And so we went and investigated there, and we had someone who was sensitive with us, and she was asking questions. And you had said about places where people are just buried that you don't even know is a battlefield. Most of Western Pennsylvania, I'm sure, is much like that.
Yeah.
Between the French and Indian War, the Revolutionary War, and then the Civil War happening. But we were able to find out that there was what we were able to get in touch with was a soldier. Was he a Civil War soldier, honey?
He might have been. It wasn't really specific, but it sounded like it was from that era.
Yes, and that he had gotten sick and that he had died there. And there were some really weird things that happened to us while we were. It's a 2-story barn. There's a street level, and then underneath where the horses used to be.
Stables.
Yeah, the old stables. Yeah, and that's where we started. And while we were in there asking questions and getting flashlight activity, yes and no answers, we heard noises over our head. Now it's a wooden floor barn, so it sounded like somebody was pushing like a chair,
something heavy, just dragging something right above our head.
Yeah,
and we knew there was nobody upstairs in the first level of the barn. At least we didn't think there was.
Yeah. So I had to go up because even though I'm not from Missouri, you got to show me. So I boom, 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 and I look pitch black because I said no electricity in there, and I have my flashlight. There's nothing in there but this humongous
There's a big combine, big tractor.
Yeah. I'm looking at this huge thing, but there's nothing or nobody. There's nothing in there that you would be pushing. There's some bales of hay, but there was.
And yet we all heard it very loudly above our heads.
Yes.
Twice.
Yes. And then we decided we're going to have. Do you want us to go up on top and investigate? And the flashlight came on. Yes. So okay. So we did that too, and got some interesting things that happened there too. So I understand exactly what you're saying about the South, and I think just the East Coast with everything that has gone on.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a bunch of things at you guys right now. And then we're going to try and I want to talk about, I promised this guy, David.
Yes, Bigfoot.
North Carolina, yeah. Okay, and I know all the up and coming, a lot of my clients nowadays are this next generation of ghost hunters coming up that just saw a TV show and they decided to grab a tape recorder and a camera and go to these allegedly haunted places, and they end up doing and saying the wrong thing and being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and then they have an attachment that they bring home and they're having some issues.
Sure.
Yeah. So for all of the young up and comers, I'm going to ask you guys if I put your feet to the fire and you could only go out of the house to an investigation with one recorder and one camera, what would those two be? And that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question is, I firmly believe the reason why EVPs aren't like having just a conversation with someone, even if it's like a ghost box, a really good ghost box that seems to perform well. You can't really sit down and have a conversation with a spirit like the three of us are talking.
Right.
Sure.
And I think it's because this is just my theory, because it takes so much energy just to say the little bits that they're able to get out.
We believe
that they can't sit there and hold a conversation with you. So this new phenomena that a lot of investigators are telling me about now is they may be in this building, and let's say it's a 3-story building. They're at one end, and in a room they have their tape recorder going. They're at the other end of the building on the 3rd floor, and they're conducting an EVP session. And that recorder doesn't catch anything. They don't hear anything. But later on, when they review evidence on the recorder at the other end of the building, 2 floors below, they're getting the answers on that recorder.
Oh.
Or sometimes they're in the middle of a session and they hear something that doesn't come on the recorder. Or, of course, the famous thing is that we don't hear it and that is on the recorder.
Yeah.
Just you guys have the floor to talk to me about theories on all of the disembodied electromagnetic fields and the voice phenomena and all of that.
Well, when you're talking about electromagnetic fields, that's why we have these EMF detectors. Now, they detect electromagnetic disturbances in the air. And it's believed that when spirits try to manifest themselves, they draw from surrounding energies to make themselves known. And when they draw from surrounding energies and use surrounding energies, everything's made up of energy. So if they draw from surrounding energy, they can leave a cold spot because energy also creates heat. So if they draw from that particular spot, it could leave a cold spot, but it can also set off the EMF detector with the lights and saying, hey, there's a disturbance going on here. Something is making the electromagnetic field here go haywire here. And so it could mean, not saying it is all the time, and say it's believed that it could be a spirit trying to manifest at that time, just drawing from surrounding energies. And that's why, and we've had this happen a lot too, where your batteries all of a sudden go dead in your camera or your recorder. Boom, everything goes dead. You put another set in there that are brand new. They last about 2 minutes. Boom, they're dead. Well, something is making these things go dead and drawing all this energy out.
And again, all of this that we believe is that these are all theories. There's nobody that has the exact answers, that knows it all.
If anybody says that they do have all the answers, that know exactly what's going on, stay away from them. Don't go with them because they don't know.
No.
They're just guessing.
Yeah.
I say this all the time to people. The longer I'm in this field, and I don't really ghost hunt much anymore. Mm-hmm. I go to and work paranormal cases at people's homes. But the longer I'm in this field, the less I feel I know. And sometimes I feel like I know nothing. And I'm okay with that, because for me, investigating the paranormal has always been a very spiritual endeavor. And so I think, I know that we're never going to get the three of us are going to be having this conversation in heaven one day, and we're going to laugh about all the things we know.
Yes.
We'll have all the answers then too.
Yes.
And it'll be funny, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And that's why, it for me at least, it keeps drawing me. You're investigating the unknown, but it's also, it's a spiritual endeavor, and I'm not looking to to get all of the crazy evidence, and because I've seen some pretty doggone good evidence. I mean, I've been on investigations with parapsychologists that are diehard skeptics and had apparitions appear right in front of them, and then as soon as the apparition's gone, they're immediately debunking what they saw.
Yeah.
And that I didn't see a ghost. So there's going to be it doesn't matter how great your evidence is. There's going to be people out there that are going to shoot it down.
Sure.
So I don't think I ever really cared too much about what people thought about. I only put stuff out if I can attach a really strong personal experience with it. Having said that, before we run out of time, I know there's people out there that have seen you guys on Finding Bigfoot. And you guys have had a personal experience, and contrary to popular belief, even if you're in this field of paranormal research and cryptids, you're among just a handful of people. I call it a handful. It's more than that, but not everybody's had a Bigfoot experience. So share with everybody again your experience. I know you're asked this question all the time, but I know there's people that have tuned in that want to hear about your experience and how it changed your life and where you're at now in your passion when it comes to the big guy, and if it's the guy that Diane is with on the beach in her cover photo, if that's one of them, or what's going on there.
I'm going to throw a plug in for a documentary that we were just lucky enough to be in, Jay Bachochin's Beyond the Kettle, Finding J2.
Yes.
He's working on another one here. It's called Finding Goosebumps Beyond the Tricks.
I saw you right there.
Yes. So Jay is out in the kettle moraine of Wisconsin, and we became friendly with him. It's amazing how you make friends with some of these, we got introduced to a wonderful world of some wonderful people that we've met. Paranormal, meaning Bigfoot, ghosts, UFOs, all of the above. And Jay's one of them. And so he invited us to Wisconsin. We brought some paranormal equipment with us, and he wanted to show us. He has the same theory that you have about ghosts, about Bigfoot, that it doesn't matter what kind of evidence he's going to come up with. There's going to be people, even if they saw it, just like you said, there will be people that say, nah. So he's not in it to prove to the world that Bigfoot exists. He just wants to know for himself. And so he took us out, and we went just for a walk. He was going to just give us lay of the land. This was during the day. Just wanted to show off the Kettle Moraine, which is just stunningly beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
And we had no equipment with us, just our cell phones. And we weren't planning on doing any kind of investigating, just a walk. And then all of a sudden we stopped and we're talking. And then
we heard this. It sounded like somebody tapping like a bongo drum or something way off in a distance, but it wasn't rhythmic like a song. It was sporadic, almost like Morse code, wasn't it?
So
something almost like Morse code.
Yes, very much so. We were standing on, so there's a path that winds through, and then the kettle just drops down hundreds of feet. So we were
a deep bowl. Down.
And that's where we were standing on the edge of it. And that's where this sound was coming from. So it's not a place that somebody's going to traverse and get down and say, okay, I know there's going to be people walking by. I'm going to bring my bongo drums and freak them out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way. It's just so dense. It's so thick.
Jay says that there couldn't be anybody down there. It's just, you couldn't get down there easily and get back at all.
Oh,
who would be down there?
It was so amazing that we were just stunned by this sound of as I said, this. And so we recorded it, and that's part of his documentary. I hope we're not blowing in any kind of.
Well, just don't say too much.
Okay.
His documentary is coming out on the 22nd.
Yes, August 22nd.
So.
But anyway, it was the weirdest thing. So it stopped, and then we started walking, and I said, wait, I want to try something that we do whenever we do paranormal investigations. So we stopped, and I said, that was so beautiful. We really enjoyed that. Do you think you could do that again for us? And what do you think happened?
Boom, 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 boom.
Started again.
We're all over again.
Freaked me out, and I have goosebumps right now because it was just, I thought, are
really
you
cool.
kidding me? This happened again? So that was, okay, is it Bigfoot? And what is Bigfoot? That's the other thing. We went from non-believers to now we're thinking, okay, could it be paranormal? Could it be UFO? Could it be interdimensional? Could it be flesh and blood? Could it be all of the above? I mean, who are we to say that we know for sure? Again, no experts.
We have never actually seen a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, but, well, for example, when we went out with Jay again that night, we did a night investigation out there in the kettle, and we came across this, oh my God, this aroma, this stench, like rotten. We were walking, it was just horrible. Now, Jay was walking about 15 feet in front of us, and he never mentioned anything about smelling it. Now, we came walking up behind him, and all of a sudden we got the,
hit us right in the face.
Just like slap in the face, like, oh, what is that? Terrible.
Disgusting.
We said, Jay, come back here. He said, what? He says, didn't you smell this? He goes, smell what? He goes, walking back, and all of a sudden he goes, oh, yeah, oh, I didn't smell that. Why didn't I smell it a minute ago? And just like that, it was gone again. It was just completely disappeared. So that was weird.
Something's moving. It's not dead like a carcass.
There was no breeze where we were, so it wasn't like it was a dead carcass that was laying off the pathway somewhere.
Because you'd smell that all the time.
Stench. Yeah,
no wind.
It just came and it went, and there was no breeze.
No.
And it was just, you know, it took your breath away. It smelled so bad.
And again, it starts your mind wondering, like, what could it be?
Yeah.
And are we even smart enough? When I say we, I mean mankind. Are we even smart enough to even understand all of this, all the possibilities?
No, we're not. Yeah.
I don't think so either. And I don't want to be arrogant to say, well, I know for sure. And yeah, that's just not the way that we are.
Yeah, it could be something that, if it does truly exist, I'm still skeptical about it, but I think if it does truly exist, it could be interdimensional, could come and go, you know, because people talk about seeing this creature, and then all of a sudden it just disappears, just like that. Well,
the infrasound. I'm interested in the infrasound now, where it just freezes people up.
Yes.
And so David continues to be a fan of the show. I'm going to just throw my experience at you real quick.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Yes, we want to hear it. On it. Give it to us, baby.
I'm in junior high school. I go on a camping trip one weekend with some buddies, and I always tell people right off the bat, yes, I smoked some pot and I drank some beer. So I was high, but I wasn't belligerently drunk and stumbling around, and I wasn't smoking peyote. I was smoking, kitchen pot back when you were in junior high school back in the day,
Nickelback.
But in the middle of the night, everybody's sound asleep in this Indian cave, and I have to go to the bathroom bad, number one. So I walk out quietly. I don't want to wake anybody up, and I'm walking out to find a nice place where I can not pee on anybody in the dark or pee on the campfire. And all of a sudden, you bring up that stench. I get hit with this stench. So at first I thought skunk. Then I thought I walked up on a dead carcass of something.
Yes,
that's what we thought. Yeah.
But before I have a chance to decide, do I want to pee or not pee? I know I'm in the pitch black. I have a little pen light, but I can clearly see in the moonlight 3 trees, a big stump and 2 big trees. And I noticed the middle stump starts to do this.
Uh-oh.
And I'm frozen because I don't really know what I'm looking at.
Sure.
And before I know it, this stump slowly stands up. Now, before I even started talking to experts about it, so many things ran through my mind. Am I about to die? Is this a bear?
Yeah.
But no growl. It didn't bum rush me. It stood up. It's still rocking a little bit. I'm frozen with fear. Yes, I did end up peeing in my pants.
Yeah.
So here's the infrastructure. You're losing everything. You can't move. You can't scream. You can't run.
Right.
And they say that now this thing can throw this this feeling on you to where you
Yeah.
feel like that and you're frozen. And whatever this was turns and slowly walks away. And it's a very minor, like it's like in Jurassic Park where you can hear the Tyrannosaurus Rex stepping.
Hmm.
Not that dramatic, but I'm close enough to where I can hear the thudding of the feet, the occasional snapping of a branch, and the occasional moving of a bush. But this giant of a thing, and I know now it had to either be a Bigfoot or a very trained circus bear that escaped. To walk
Yeah.
off like that,
Yeah.
off into the darkness, didn't bother me. And it wasn't until I felt it was gone that I was able to actually move again and
Hmm.
go back. And I hurried back to the camp. I didn't want to wake anybody up. And I didn't tell anybody either. I sat close enough to the fire to dry myself because I was embarrassed. But I never told anybody. And it wasn't until I started doing my radio show and talking to Bigfoot people that I shared that experience. And most everyone thinks, yeah, you had a Bigfoot encounter. And I've got about 4 minutes before I have to kick you guys out of here. So what do you think?
Oh, listen, awesome. This is talking to people like you about Bigfoot is what turned it around for me. People get emotional. Now, there are some hoaxers that are out there, but the folks
Sure.
that
You're
we
always going to get
meet,
those. Yeah.
just as you had said, you don't want to tell anybody. Why didn't you want to tell anybody, Shawn?
Because you don't even really know what it was you experienced. And I'm a young kid. I'm in junior high school, and you know, did I imagine this? I would have if I hadn't have been frozen and peed in my pants and went through some of the other emotional things that I'd gone through. I probably would have thought I was just I imagined that I was high and had some beers and
Sure.
Well, and
you
the
know
other thing is, you don't want to be considered the big weirdo.
Yeah.
absolutely and
Yes.
and yeah.
And that's what we've seen with people. Same thing with ghosts. They at first they said, "Well, we don't tell too many people
Yeah,
this,"
because
but
they want to be ridiculed. They want to
yes,
be embarrassed.
yes, people
So
think we're
they just keep it
crazy.
to themselves most of the time.
Same thing with ghosts and Bigfoot. So you kind of get a feeling of who's telling the truth and who's making something up to just be
You can
glorified.
tell by the way they're telling the story.
Yes.
When we watch people that'll describe their Bigfoot encounter, some of them are visibly shaken, teary-eyed, and you can tell that they're really shook up about what they're talking about. They experienced something, whether it was Bigfoot or not, who knows? But they experienced something out there that they couldn't understand what it was.
Well, I had a young friend. I mean, I in the third grade was when I moved out west, but I grew up in Colts Neck, New Jersey, and I had a friend fall in a creek and he was drowning, and I couldn't get to him, and I ran to his house to get help. By the time we came back down, he was already out of the creek. And before I moved, quite some time later, I asked him how he got out of the creek, and he told me a giant hairy man
Oh,
just came down there, jumped into the swamp, and grabbed him and pulled him out. And
Wow.
he commented that this guy had big red eyes. And then it was many years later, 50 years later, I read this article about old red eyes from the New Jersey area who looks
Oh
like
yeah,
Bigfoot, but he's got these big glowing eyes. And
New
I
Jersey
reached
Devil.
60 years later, I reach out and find this guy, and
Oh,
we
wow.
talk about it. And he was I took me finding him and talking to him about this took him right back to that day 60 years ago when
wow.
he was a little kid and experienced that, and he was freaked, and he's convinced that that's exactly what he was in denial all these years,
Sure.
but he was
Yeah.
convinced that that's what he experienced. So craziness. And before we get cut off here, make sure you guys both know I love you both. I respect you both. You guys are cool. Real quick,
Yes.
best camera, best
Oh,
best tape recorder you two take everywhere.
Sony digital recorders. Those are our favorites.
Yeah. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I mean, you can spend a little money, you can spend a lot of money, but the digital audio recorders, they're going to do the same thing no matter what. So, but we like the Sony brand ourselves.
Yeah. We have a couple of different ones. We have some older ones. We have some newer ones. Yep. But yeah, like he said, you don't have to spend $1,000 on some fancy. And that's something that we do when we go to shows. We bring a basic paranormal kit. So some people have never seen an EMF detector and they, wow, that's what we saw on the ghost hunter shows. And,
and the same thing with camcorders, we'll use, we got a couple of Sony camcorders. We got some other ones that have the night vision and that, those are good. But I'll tell you the truth, what is really picking up and getting really easy to take is your iPhone or your smartphone. These things now take great digital pictures. They take great videos. Keep it in your pocket. It comes in handy and it records.
Oh my gosh. If I was there, I'd give you both a big hug and a kiss.
Well, we love you too. And congratulations on your new path in life.
When God calls you, there's not even a hesitation on what your answer is going to be. There's no answer. You're just, and I'm going to stop there because I'll get emotional again. I've turned into such a crybaby. What happened to me? So anyway, but yeah, it's going to be quite an adventure. Who enters the seminary at 62?
Well,
you.
when God tells you this is what you're doing, you do it. But
yeah. Awesome.
If you're not too familiar with the United States Old Catholic Church, check out their history. They're phenomenal. But you guys, I want everybody to go to your website, www.goosebumpsparanormalsociety, all one word, .weebly.com. You got that book there. You got another book there. All kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
This book has got some of our best paranormal cases that we've done, includes a lot of Gettysburg, but it's all Pennsylvania. So it's available on Amazon.
And we take you along. Cool. It's very conversational. Bones highly recommends it, don't you?
He agrees. He agrees.
All right, guys. I love you both. Will you come back?
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely come back.
Okay, I'll see you guys.
We'll see you next week.
Okay. See you guys later.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Good night. Oh, that was fun. And I got out my little experience and touched base on another friend of mine from childhood who had what I think was probably big red eyes in the New Jersey area. So, David, that was an abridged, quickie version of my story. I hope that satisfied you for tonight. I don't have a show without each and every one of you. So thank you so much for taking an hour out of your busy Monday evening to spend with me. I love the tricks, and I knew if you guys didn't already love them, you were going to love them by the end of the show. So get Jimmy and Dee's book, follow them, go see them if they're at a paranormal convention near you. I will be here this Friday. Oh gosh, get your tickets early for this one too, and get your popcorn and be ready to buckle up. This Friday, and my Friday show's earlier, 2 p.m. Pacific. This Friday, August 12th, I've got the whole, not just one or two of them, I've got the whole Mass Hauntings paranormal team on the show. I don't even have to say another word. And that night, they are premiering on YouTube their film where they were at the latest haunted location. They're premiering that film that night too on YouTube. So be here this Friday for the whole Mass Hauntings team. I know I have some people I want to thank. I want to thank my co-producers, Adrian and Zach Clayton. They are now married, so they're the Claytons. I couldn't do the show without them, so God bless them both. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to Pact, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel, for all simulcasting my show. Check out Pact also. Pact's got a lot of great shows on there. People, their lives are devoted to helping others. So check out all of the podcasting on the Pact channel, P-A-C-T. What else do I want to tell you guys other than I love you all? You're all on the prayer list. I pray for you all. I'm going to pull a bad joke out of a hat that one of you sent in to try and put a smile on everybody's face. Why are colds bad criminals? Because they're easy to catch. Good night, dog. Good night, Jack. Good night, Danny. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. God bless you all. I love you all. Peace.